coming to you from Boone Pickens Stadium. I'm Scott Wright of the Oklahoman, joined by Nathan Ruiz. Right in the aftermath of a 44-21 victory by Oklahoma State over Boise State. Big win here at Boone Pickens Stadium for the Cowboys today. Didn't necessarily feel like it was going to be that type of a game from the beginning, Nathan. A slow start for the Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely. OSU only managed 15 yards in the first quarter. Taylor Cornelius started out, I believe it was 1 for 5 for 9 yards. A really slow start for the offense. And then they found a way maybe to get it going a little bit. After that point, obviously, got some help from the defense in that effort. Taylor Cornelius was able to use his legs a bit to get things going. And ends up with a really comfortable victory for OSU in this top 25 matchup.
Yeah, we hadn't seen Cornelius take off and run nearly as much as we did today. That seemed to be a big focal point. It seemed like Yurcich and Gundy felt there was something they could exploit there, but it definitely became a vital weapon, especially in getting the offense going there in that second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen him use his feet time to time just to complete some passes, maybe get 3 or 4 yards here. But there was a long time in this game where he was OSU's leading rusher, was leading Boise in rushing yards, like surpassing them in total. So he was a guy who's we've known that he's athletic. OSU has said that repeatedly. We've seen it in flashes on the field. Today was the first day we really saw him kind of take a beating and going out there and making a lot of rushes. But I think it opened up a lot of things in the passing game and maybe got OSU some momentum it clearly needed.
It seemed to open up things for the running backs later in the game. Justice Hill took over and had some big yards late in the game to get himself over 100 yards. Only needed 15 carries to do it, but an important game for him to come in and sort of close the door after the offense had done some big things. Tylan Wallace, another big game, went over 100 yards again in receiving, and seems to have a real serious connection with Taylor Cornelius in that respect. Defensively, we saw some really interesting things. Jordan Brailford, among other defensive ends, lining up as an outside linebacker, as an inside linebacker, ending up in pass coverage at times. But the biggest key to it all was that they were getting to Brett Rypien, the Boise State quarterback, and really causing him some trouble. Yeah,
when we met with the players this week, that was one thing that Justin Phillips made a point of, is that, you know, he's done really well in these first 2 games, but no one's really touched him. And so I think it was a really big point of emphasis for the Cowboys defense to pressure him and find out how he would react to it. And he had these moments where he was really effective, Brett Rypien was, but for the most part, OSU, you know, finishes with 7 sacks, really able to get to him. Jordan Brailford had 3 sacks just in the first half. So OSU able to put that pressure on it with those different looks, some new things we hadn't seen. Defensive coordinator Jim Knowles said before the year and after that first game that there's certain wrinkles that we haven't exposed yet, and we're going to save them. And this was a big game. I think they were saving some of those new looks for.
Yeah, Mike Gundy said 4 packages that had not been used and that we saw today unveiled. Some of those were involving the safeties, Colby Peel and Jarek Bernard getting involved a lot more than you might have expected them in some crucial down situations. So a lot of things that Jim Knowles is doing with this defense to get more creative in how he uses his talent. He likes the versatility that he's got in this group. You mentioned 7 sacks today. Boise State had allowed 1 in its first 2 games, albeit against a couple of weak opponents, but still they had been protecting Brett Rypien really well, and it didn't go so well for them today. Jordan Brailford also hinted that there is a competition ongoing between he and Calvin Bundage for the most sacks this season. Brailford now in the lead. He's not giving away just what exactly is on the line between those 2 guys, but you can tell that they're having some fun with it. Special teams, a huge day for those guys. 2 blocked punts, one of them that ended up in a touchdown right here in this end zone right behind us. But a huge turning point for the special teams, which had been a point of emphasis, I would say, after last week's struggles with discipline was what Gundy pointed to. But a really big day for those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 blocked punts, like you mentioned. The first one huge for setting things up for the Cowboys. Gave them a short field, 7-7 game at the time. They needed only 7 yards at that point to get in the end zone. With 2 runs, Taylor Cornelius got all 7 of those yards, gave OSU a lead. It didn't give up for the rest of the game. So that was a huge momentum swing in the game. You know, it was kind of a light energy game, I think, to that point. Not a whole lot for either offense happening, and then that sets up for OSU great. The second one kind of puts things away for OSU, gives it a 3-score lead, or at least it gave OSU some comfort, a margin that maybe it didn't have at certain points throughout the game. And so it kind of it's set up. Once you get that happens to you once, 1 block punt, that's going to get in your head. When it happens twice, it can be really demoralizing. I think it went a long way for OSU winning this game.
It absolutely did. It really energized the team a lot. You could see that from them coming out of those moments. So big plays there for the special teams to finish it up. Let's hear what some of the Cowboys had to say about the ball game today.
I think he's comfortable when he's running the ball some. He gets into the flow of a game, right? Like a 3-point shooter in basketball, hits a couple threes, he gets hot, you know, and you give it to him, and he starts hitting a few more. But he's just had experience. He's played 3 games now, so he's getting a little better each game. we had some different schemes in for him to run in this game than, you know, that we haven't used this or at this point this year, and we have to take advantage of that. And we talked about this on Monday. He's a legitimate barefoot 6'6". He takes 2 steps and he's over there at that podium. So he's a little bit deceptive in how fast he is because he's a big strider. So we have to be able to use that to our advantage, but we also have to be able to protect him. The only thing he did that I wasn't happy about is once he gets his run accomplished based on what he's going to get, he needs to get down. I'm not real fired up about him taking hits, and that's the key with blocking punts. Everybody's got to be in the right spot. It's a big day for 11 and then also for 24 for a true freshman to block a punt like that's pretty cool. They had 4 different schemes that we hadn't used this year that they used today, and I thought they did a good job of when to make that decision, and they pressured it. You know, I got a lot of heat all week from my 14-year-old. Gage is, are you going to blitz the quarterback? You're going to blitz the quarterback. I said, some. Can't blitz him all the time. He's pretty good. And he said, I'd blitz him all the time. So Coach Knowles said, okay, we'll blitz him all the time. And put a lot of pressure on him, and I think it was a smart move because when he sets back there, he's pretty good. And they're good with the controlled passing game. All that West Coast stuff they do, they know what they're doing.
You know, we broke out some things, right? We moved Brailford around a little bit. We moved Calvin around a little bit. We moved our pass rush around. We got creative when it turned into a passing game, and that's because we were so effective stopping the run. And when we do that, I think we have the guys who can really light things up.
I was really excited. You know, last time I played linebacker was my senior year of high school, so, you know, 4 years later, I'm getting a chance to do it all over again, have fun with it, and make some plays.
Did you feel like you were in some situations where you could really cause some problems because they maybe didn't know where you were going to be from snap to snap?
Yeah, I definitely think that it threw them off a little bit today. I missed a couple of tackles in the backfield, you know, missed some big plays, but I'll get better at it as time goes on, and hopefully I'll catch on.
You know, you have to stay grounded, you have to stay focused and do the things that got you here. So whatever he's focused on and improved upon and gotten better at over time, that has to continue from week 3 to week 4, not just from, you know, all of a sudden, hey, you know, week 3 I've arrived and that's it. And he knows that. He's a mature guy. He's been here for 5 years, and he gets that. It's part of our culture as to why we practice on Tuesdays to get better.
I thought we did better than last week. Keep improving. 0 turnovers today, so it's a big-time thing for us, and we try to eliminate the penalties.
Looked like you were able to get your own run game going. Was that the plan coming in?
We had a few quarterback design runs, but I mean, it was working for us, so we just kind of kept with it.
Oklahoma State back at home for the 4th time in 4 games to start this season. Texas Tech coming in at 6 p.m. next Saturday.
Yeah, you know, they're a tough team. Obviously, the air raid offense, the last time we were here, was a 1-point game decided by a missed extra point. So it should be an interesting game. Taylor Cornelius trying to improve to 4-0 as Oklahoma State's starting quarterback. First conference game for the Cowboys, so it should be a good one.
It will be, and we'll have it covered all week leading up to the ball game, so keep it on newsok.com and check out the Oklahoman for all of your Oklahoma State football.